Kelly Thomason was a classmate and good friend of my sister-in-law's and therefore my husband's family back at Knollwood Junior High and Shawnee Mission South. So they have a relationship that goes back more years than I can count. Otherwise, I would probably feel pretty old. But it was only until maybe the last 12 to 15 years that I've really gotten to know Kelly through our ties to Presbyterian Church of Stanley. We stood next to each other as we struggled to make music together at Bell Choir, and then we started a monthly book club, mostly PCOS gals, and for the last 10 years we've been meeting monthly, reading books and sharing, and we do read the books. We don't just gather for wine. So it's possible that the time I spend with Kelly, though, in the church kitchen is what I enjoy the most. Whether we're getting ready for a fall fest or a funeral reception or a congregational dinner, we both seem to find joy in the behind-the-scenes work, and she is always the organizer. When I asked other people what they think of when I say Kelly Thomason, some of our mutual friends, several of them alluded to the idea that, when the going gets tough and the tough get going, that's Kelly Thomason. That she steps up and isn't looking for this kind of honor, so to speak, but she just is happy to do the work and make sure the programs are successful and make sure the event is successful and make sure people feel welcome. And that's one of the things we appreciate about her most, I think. I was once having a conversation with Mark Braden, the interim pastor who really helped guide PCOS through a pretty rough patch, and I remember him saying that every church should be so lucky as to have a Kelly Thomason in their midst, women who are both Marys and Marthas. And I think if some of us were to look to the left and to the right of us, the people who are sitting here today, we would probably see another one who's a lot like Kelly, a woman who's an organizer and a leader, who's always thinking of others, who's willing to do the sometimes thankless and behind-the-scenes work. Or whether it was going with Harlan Harper on half a dozen mission trips around the region and around the country. She's taught VBS over the years, Sunday school. You wouldn't be surprised to show up at VOA and find Kelly with a paintbrush in her hand, or find out that she's just retiled the floor in some room, because she has a lot of gifts and her hands are never idle. When Kelly isn't working the sound booth at the back of the church, she's probably sitting in a pew with some knitting in her hand, because she's knitting little baby blankets, little doll blankets, and little hats for Johnson County Christmas Bureau to give away, dozens and dozens of them every year. She is a card maker and a scrapbook maker, and I think there are very few people at Village on Antioch who have not received one of her handmade cards when they're going through a tough time, when they've had a loss, or when they're celebrating, or when she just wants to say thank you. I know they're little works of art, and I always want to keep them and not get rid of them, so I know I have quite a few sitting in my piles on my desk at home. Well, Kelly, I hope that you'll consider this honor today, this PW Lifetime Membership, as an extra special thank you. Thanks for all the hours, the efforts, the endless trips to Hobby Lobby and Hy-Vee that you've given to our church. You've been a role model and a friend and a bridge builder, and we thank you.
Today, I'm being awarded an honorary lifetime membership, and I'm so excited to receive it. It's a time of reflection for me, because I'm reflecting back to all of the things that I've done in the church and all of the things that I want to do in the church, and all of the people that have touched and impacted my life as I've been both a member of Village and a member of the Presbyterian Church. I was baptized as a child in Hyde Park Presbyterian Church in St. Joseph, Missouri, and my husband and I were married at Rolling Hills Presbyterian Church. When I was young, we moved back to the Kansas City area, and our family decided to go to Colonial Presbyterian Church. So my earliest memory of Village Church would be a youth retreat when I was about 12 or 13, and we played sardines with the youth group from Colonial Presbyterian and the youth group from Village Church, and it's very hard to sardine that many children into a small space. Now I'm a member of Village on Antioch, so it was very interesting for me to go full circle. I'm very excited to accept this award, but I really want to thank all the ladies who have been mentors to me, all of the ladies that have done weird and wacky vacation Bible school activities, crafts, games, costumes. I would also like to thank the people who have taught me through Sunday Bible school studies, women's ministry studies, You ladies are very special to me and very dear to my heart. Specifically, I would like to thank my friend Susan Pittman, who has stood by me through ups and downs and laughter. They call us Thing 1 and Thing 2, and if you've met either one of us, you'll understand why they call us that. I have very much a grateful heart for Jan Zimmerman, who's been a very good mentor to me. I want to thank my mom for being a great role model, because her thing was always show up. If somebody asks you to do something, always show up. Don't ask when they need you, just ask how many you should bring. And so I think that's a great role model. My grandmother also, I'm sure my mother learned those traits from my grandmother, because my grandmother would always make 2 pies, mostly lemon meringue. My grandmother never learned to drive, and so when there was an event at church, there was a competition to see who would pick up my grandmother, because one lemon meringue pie would go to the driver of the car, and the other lemon meringue pie would go to whatever event they were attending. So if you were having a potluck at church, there was great competition for who was going to pick up Grandma Cora and take her to church. Those are the kinds of role models that have shaped my life and my love of the church. The church is like my family. I also need to thank my immediate family. My husband Wade is always supportive. I have 2 daughters. My oldest daughter Kay is a lovely, free-spirited lady, and she has taught me how to find joy in life wherever I am. And then my youngest daughter and her husband have a new grandbaby, Miss Peyton, who is the light of my life, and they are always so supportive. Anytime I need help with anything, they are there for me. So, Village Church has given to me a group of ladies through PW that I never would have met. It has given me an outlet for lots of mission and service type work that not only me but other members of Village on Antioch are so excited to take advantage of. We love the 99th Street mission. We have a group of ladies that comes up and does work at the food pantry. We have people that are looking to donate things all the time, and they're using 99th Street as a place to get donations and things out into the community. So Village Church to me is really about love.